It's August 12th, and I am so behind. There's the overlay. August 12th, 2024. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. I'm back, and yes, my brain is still foggy because clearly I forget to do the little video cues that make our show so special. I had to redo a thumbnail in literal seconds. Jeremy Lambert can attest to this. He's here with me as always. How are you doing? See, look at this right away. Bargov gets it. They get it. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. I'm not running from the grind like you, Joel. Two Show Joel is the name we came up with on Friday's show because you're doing about 2 shows a week now.
Just two. Well, I mean, that's true. I didn't do the TNA show because I was equally down bad. It was not good. My kid got us all sick. This is rare. I know, excuses to run from the grind. I get it. What happened was last week was part of a long weekend, right? We came off Monday was a long weekend in Canada, in Ontario. So kid was home with us for those 3 days. He got sick during one of those 3 days. I guess just got a cold, sniffles and so on and so forth. Wakes up on Tuesday. I take him to daycare. I get back 30 minutes later. I get a phone call from the daycare saying, "Hey, come and pick him up. He's sick." And I'm like, "Oh, come on, man. I just got home." So I went, I got him, brought him home, had to keep him home on Tuesday, kept him home on Wednesday because they make you monitor for 24 hours, make sure he's not sick. So he went back on Thursday. My wife and I both got sick Wednesday morning, which I do not get sick very often. But when I do, it knocks me on my ass. And that's what happened. You can still hear me. I'm a little congested still, but it's mostly gone. My wife has a cough. I've got a little one, but we're good. Everyone's back on.
You should have made the kid walk home on Monday after you took him, dropped him off, and he got sick. Should have told him, like, if you really want to come home, start walking, kid.
The thing is, the kid would have done it, and unfortunately, he probably would have walked into oncoming traffic because he is not walk savvy. He's an explorer, my little kid.
Life lessons. Got to learn them.
They do have to learn. They should learn young like you guys learn to leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. And of course, the fireworks are back, baby, because it's all in season. Plenty to talk about. And you can donate a super chat. Any amount gets your question or statement right on the air. Jeremy, how was your weekend?
I went to this festival. Right, a lot of wrestling shirts, amazingly, at this festival. I don't know about a lot, but like,
given your location,
the fact that there were one, it seems like a lot, right? I actually did see like 3 or 4 SummerSlam shirts. Obviously, SummerSlam was here in Cleveland. I'm close to Cleveland, so there were a few number of SummerSlam shirts. I also saw this kid wearing a Cody Rhodes shirt and an American Nightmare shirt. We were in line for this giant thing. It's like it's an inflatable like rock wall that you climb up and then you slide down. One of those things. We were in line for this, and this kid was in line for it. He's with his mom or whatever. I just go up to this kid, and I was like, "Nice shirt." And the kid looked at me, and he looked down at his shirt. He probably didn't realize what shirt he was wearing, but then he did. He's like, "Oh, thank you." And I go like this. I just throw the one up at him, and he still just looks at me, and his mom just looks at me. I was telling my 12 kids, I was like, throw your ones up. So all the 12 kids, they threw their ones up at this kid as well. So my bloodline, we were all waiting to be acknowledged by this one little Cody Rhodes fan, this little dork ass Cody Rhodes fan. Sorry to this kid. Hope he has a good life.
Well, here's the first clarifying question I need to ask. So you're at this fair, this event, this thing with a bunch of rides and stuff. Now, for clarification's sake, this kid's in line for this rock climbing, sliding thing.
Yeah.
Are you in line to do it, or are you in line with one of the?
No, I'm in line with the kids. They wouldn't let me do it. I asked. They were like, no parents are allowed. And I'm like, well, I mean, parent is like a loose term to be used here. You know what I mean? So then it was no adults allowed. I'm like, well, adults is a loose term to be used here. So then they finally had to say nobody over the age of 12 allowed. And I'm like, all right, fine. And I don't even think 12 was the real cutoff, but like I was going to keep giving them shit if they kept saying, 18. And I'd be like, well, like it says 18 that I'm older than 18, but like you're only as old as you act. So like they would just went 12. I was like, all right, fine. I can't argue with this anymore. But I did make that kid acknowledge me and my bloodline as we threw our ones up at him.
I see you getting into an argument with the person running the thing. Like, I'm only as old as I feel. And guess what?
Yeah.
I feel 11. And then you just kick him in the shins and you do it anyway.
I wanted to do this little rock wall gimmick and they wouldn't let me. They had another thing where it like spun around. It was a duck and jump gimmick. You know, it's got the high bar that you duck under and it's got the low bar that you jump over and it spins around. Yeah, that little gimmick as well. I want to do that. They wouldn't let me do that.
Next time, I
What's
promise
the point
you
of these things? These things honestly these things suck. You go there, you're just hanging out, not even hanging out, like you're just walking around a bunch of people and bumping into everybody. And it's just, everything's overpriced. It just awful stuff going on. And then fireworks. I don't like fireworks. I mean, it's cool when like I do it in the background here, but like actual fireworks, they're not anything special to me. You've seen one set of fireworks, you've seen them all. It's like, all right, cool. They go off in the air and they pop and then they do colors. They're loud. I don't like them.
I mean, you make them appear just by putting your thumbs in the air.
Yeah, it's a whole lot different though, because there's not this popping sound. Here we go, folks. Hold on. Let's try this.
It never works when you need it to.
I know, right?
Just like fireworks. There it is.
Boom, 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 boom.
Should have given
that sucks, doesn't it?
I should have given a warning for people wearing headphones. You just blew out my ears, and I'm wearing in-ears.
That's how fireworks work. It's awful, right?
Someone on a train somewhere just like jumped up and ran out the door. Good God. What's wrong with you?
There, I'm gonna make everybody hate fireworks now.
See, look at this. Chat's already upset with you. Listen. You should be upset with Jeremy. Just take him out. Just take out Jeremy. It's over.
This is why fireworks do. They suck.
This is why you're going through a table in 11 days in Spencer, Indiana. We got to have a chat with the proprietor of this event very soon. I think we have to talk with him real soon, don't we?
I guess so.
Always has to. Maybe. Yeah, that was no pop for your pop. Oh, man.
That's what fireworks do, everybody.
That's fair.
That is a great reenactment, if you ask me, of what fireworks do. So like, if you like that, more power to you. I think it sucks.
I think if you're at a safe distance and away from the craziness, then they can be fun. But That's just me.
Nope.
Oh, whatever. Listen, at least you didn't have to. Yeah, Jeremy said F your ears. That's exactly it. At least you didn't have a dog with you because, you know, if you're Cody and Pharaoh, the one thing that Cody was
there were dogs there, and one of the dogs got very scared. Like,
can't do that.
We were like kind of close to the fireworks, and one of the dogs was near us, and this dog was having nothing to do with these fireworks. Like, I don't blame the dog. I always hated that. You know, I used to have a dog, and every 4th of July they'd go off, dog would like run and just be so scared of this stuff. And then of course nowadays it's not just 4th of July. They got to do these fireworks on like July 1st and 2nd and 3rd, and then the 4th and the 5th and the 6th. Like, they're still doing fireworks. Like, what the fuck are we doing all these fireworks for? Sucks.
I think our pal Cher Delaware put out a tweet something like "Happy 12th of August" to the guy who just set off fireworks in his, you know, on his porch or whatever it was.
Yeah,
you can't do that. And yeah, you know what? If you got dogs or you're taking any pet out to a fireworks display, don't. It's not a good thing. Do not do it. Another reason not to listen to is because you physically can't.
I look forward to people who listen to the audio and just have no idea what's about to happen, and they just get this giant popping. And this is fireworks, folks. All right, this is what happens.
It's not how it should happen, but it is what happens. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad that your weekend was good because mine was okay as well. There you go. Nothing special happened in my world. Took the kid to the museum. took the kid to the park. It's basically all I do. I take my kid places. This was the funniest thing that happened. I went with another dad and his kid to the museum. We took our kids to the museum. Both our kids are the same age, and they're toddlers, for the record. And this guy, bless him, very nice guy, this other father. And we're walking around the museum, and he's very much a museum type. And he's like, oh, I thought maybe we'd have a little more time to like look at some of the exhibits. And I laughed. And I'm like, no. We are the eyes making sure that our children don't try to take the heads off of some of the exhibits themselves. And he just looked at me. It's true. At that age, they're just trying to get into
I know. But I'm just saying, just let them do it.
I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. So I had a good laugh about that a couple of weeks ago with him. We'll go
I think
again.
it's a great idea. Here's why, Joel.
Why?
You let the kid just destroy one thing in the museum. Who cares? They got a million things in this museum. They can survive without one. All right.
Some of these things are artifacts, Jeremy. They're worth.
No. Listen, let me finish. You let him destroy one thing. Then that gets him kicked out of the museum, gets you kicked out of the museum. And then they get the photo passed around to all the museums. Don't let this kid in your museum because he's going to destroy something. And then you never have to go to these fucking museums again. Museums are stupid. Okay? They're dumb as can be. You want to learn about stuff? Just go online. The internet's there. You want to learn about it? Just read it on Wikipedia.
That's true. And it is typically free.
Yeah, museums, you got to pay like $20 or whatever it is to go, and you walk around and you see all this old shit that who could possibly care. And then your kids make the jokes, oh, they're going to keep you at the museum. Like, you haven't heard that one before. I get it, dummy. Sorry, calling kids dummies. I get it, kid. You think I'm old. The museums suck.
There's seems like there's a lot of unresolved anger over this thing. Feels like your resentment towards museums are less towards museums and more towards, I don't know, people calling you old.
I don't care if I'm called old.
Yeah, your birthday's next month. It's almost in a month. Allegedly. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm called old. I'm not a fan of museums. It's just do nothing for me.
I like museums. I do. Yeah, Jeremy hates fun. Part 10,490.
Please explain to me how museums are fun. Because here's the thing. All right, you know what? Maybe it's partially being old. You can't do anything when you're old.
That's true.
Like, you can't do all the fun stuff when you're old. Not because you don't want to. Not because, like, it's not there for you. It's because you're not allowed to. So it's stupid. Let me do the fun stuff when I'm old. Let me go in and play in the play place and stuff. But like, you won't allow me to do that. So all I do is walk around and just supervise children. Where's the fun in that? I don't like doing it.
See, this is why I love the dichotomy of our fans / our listenership. They're not fans. Who are y'all? Are people who hang out with us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to talk about this. I love the dichotomy of our listenership. You got Louis saying there's a Reddit thread with more accurate information. And then on the other side, you got Cyclops better than Wolverine saying, always thought museums were fascinating. Always loved trips to them as a kid.
As a kid, yes. As a kid, they're fun because you get to do all the fun stuff.
And then we have Chi-Town Spurs straight in the middle, just being like, learning is fun. No, I get it. There's a little bit of everyone in all this in this chat. You must have been going to the wrong museums because the ones here, there are some really interesting ones, some really fun ones. They have interactive exhibits. They do really cool things. When I grew up in Ottawa, there was the Science and Technology Museum. That shit was the best. The Ontario Science Center, which is now closed because our government sucks, and also structural issues. But anyway, the Ontario Science Center, tons of fun. That's kind of a museum / kind of a interactive educational thing. There's so many cool things that you can find in a museum. Not every museum is interesting. Do not get me wrong. Some are just flat out boring, but there are some good ones. Yeah, there you go. Jason gets it. The Crazy Kitchen. Shout out to the Science Tech Museum. There's a Crazy Kitchen. It's literally just there are different rooms in a kitchen, or a kitchen is on an angle, and you're just trying to like get around, and it's crazy. It's wacky. And when you're a little kid, that stuff is golden. It's like a fun house. That's what you need more of.
If I want to be tilted, I'll just do some drugs. I don't need to go to a museum to do that.
Oh, but here's the most important part: air conditioning at the museum and heating in the wintertime. That's important.
My house has that.
But you don't have to pay for it if you're at the museum.
Got to pay to get in the museum. Got to pay for the gas or the fare. However,
Sometimes, yeah, but it's still cheaper than what you'd be paying at home for that heating and cooling cost.
But I'm already paying for that. You're not winning this argument. This is a terrible argument, Joel.
I think it's an accurate depiction of fact.
No.
I do.
No.
You can get a fun house. Well, listen, this is how you know people work for us. Luis is like, museums stink. Well, you just don't get it. Too busy sitting in your house watching CMLL and telling people all about what wrestlers are going where. You want old. You want museum wrestling. CMLL. They got you covered. Anyway, where should we start this morning? Should we start with the tweet that caused me to redo our entire thumbnail / everything today? Our headline. WrestleVotes tweeted about 40 minutes ago. Plans are in motion to rebrand the new Judgment Day. Sources say the group's essence will stay the same, but a name change is likely. The leading candidate is an out-of-the-box, yet bold idea. Street Trash. Does this mean Gunther's going to join the group? Because that would be great.
No, Gunther's not Street Trash. Why would Gunther join the group?
Well, he's the one who coined the phrase, so why wouldn't they let it get back to him that it's, he should at least get residuals on the idea of changing it to Street Trash.
Yeah, maybe, but like he's not going to join. He's not Street Trash. That was the whole point. Is Damian Priest was Street Trash, not Gunther.
Everybody's Street Trash if you try hard enough.
No, you pay attention to the product, Joel.
Never. That sounds silly. Why would I do that? But this is an idea that's supposedly been bounced around. The idea of calling them Street Trash, probably not what I would do, unless there's like, I don't even know what kind of backstory you could have for these people to make it work that they call them Street Trash.
We're from the streets, and we're
trash. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the latter is what gets people just completely thrown off.
It's a dumb idea. What does this merch look like? I'm Street Trash. People will buy this stuff, ironically, maybe unironically, but like, this just sounds dumb. Like, why would you call yourself Street Trash? Just call yourself just like Judgment Streets. I don't know, but like, don't do that. Don't call the group Street Trash. It just seems stupid. Like, there's no real upside to we're gonna own that we're Street Trash. Like, dude, Dominic was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, who's been on television since, maybe that's the point, is like it's an ironic type thing. It's like, oh, like Dom is somebody who, again, he's been on TV since he was like 7. He's royalty in wrestling. He's friggin' a Mysterio. All right. Like Finn, he's royalty in Irish wrestling. Kind of the same thing with JD. Carlito, another sort of legacy when it comes to this stuff. Cologne.
He's a legacy, absolutely.
Yeah. I guess Liv came from Hooters, so maybe like that's.
Listen, everybody has to have a backstory, and I get it. Liv, we're not talking out of turn. They made that a whole thing. She worked at Hooters. Liv is from New Jersey. A lot of street trash in New Jersey. Let me tell you.
Maybe they're reclaiming street trash.
I get it.
They're taking it back. Like,
they're taking it back.
Porch
I've
Monkey.
seen that movie. No, don't say the words. We all saw the movie. We're not taking it back.
All right. Well, for those who haven't seen the movie, because maybe people haven't, it's a Clerks 2 reference. All right, yes, everybody.
It is. Go watch the movie if you want the full explanation. Yeah, Drew's pointing out your mistake there. He's not actually a Mysterio. Dominic is a Guerrero. Look at his face. Look at the way he looks. He's a Guerrero. But yes, Jersey's full of street trash. Maybe that's going to be the explanation. They are taking it back, but then they're going to say, we're street trash. Just like Jersey Liv. No spoilers we're being asked to give. Don't watch Clerks 2.
Don't watch Clerks 3.
Oh yeah, I never saw it. It was bad, huh?
I don't know. I didn't see it either, but like Clerks 2 I thought was good. I enjoyed Clerks 2. Clerks 3, I've heard it's not worth it. So I'm not gonna watch it.
There is a Clerks 2, and it actually isn't awful, to be perfectly honest with you.
That was good.
It has its moments, but the best part about Clerks 2 is the opening where they're dancing to Welcome Home by King Diamond. That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best part of the whole movie. You can turn it off after the first like 10 minutes because it's all downhill from there. Anyway. Oh yeah, and the donkey scene, that's also very funny.
I like when he does the Lord of the Rings reenactment. That popped me. That movie sucks. Those movies are terrible.
Go. We'll watch it as a family one night. We'll get on this channel and just watch it together.
Not Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings sucks.
No, I'm talking about Clerks. I ain't watching Lord of the Rings. Happy birthday to Doc, by the way. Happy belated birthday. Speaking of Lord of the Rings.
I already said happy birthday to him. I don't need to say it again.
You did your part.
Yeah.
I get it. Someone says the Goodbye Horses bit was hilarious. Okay, listen, there are parts of Clerks 2 that are fine.
Clerks 2 was good. I'm not gonna sit here and we're not gonna slander Clerks 2.
Fine, but Clerks 3 is awful. We all agree on that one.
Clerks 2. I don't think anybody did see Clerks 3, but yes, the people who did see it all came with the same idea. Lord of the Rings is awful.
I'm not a fan. My dad, God bless him, he loved them. Not for me. He tried to make me sit through them, and I was just like, it's time I will never get back in my life.
I just sit through those dumbass movies. I just sit through the friggin' Hobbit movies. They all suck. Every single one of them. That's fine if you like it, Chi-Town Spurs. It's more power to you if you can sit through these 5-hour classics.
I wouldn't call it classic. But anyway, what? So we're not gonna. Okay, we don't call them street trash. What do you really want to? Do you just keep them as the Judgment Day?
No, they should rename just because Judgment Day was Copeland, Rhea, and the other Damian Priest. Yeah. I'm looking at this Lord of the Rings debate we have going on in our chat. Much fun.
Keep it up. Keep up the Lord of the Rings. The more gobbledygook, the better for this chat. It's how my Wednesday. It's Wednesday in my brain. That's how my Monday should start. Yeah, this is a name that needs to be workshopped a little bit further, in my opinion. Street trash.
I don't think street trash is good. Here's the thing, Chi-Town Spurs. Here's the thing. We're doing this. Oh, sorry. Wrong one. Where is it?
Although the one you brought up was also a very good point. We can get to that afterwards.
Okay, fair enough. This is incorrect because this is exactly how I watched these movies. There is a scene. I don't remember which one it was. I don't remember. They all run together. Okay. It's like 12 hours of walking. All right. If I want to see that, I'll watch somebody run a marathon or something. So my wife is messaging me that I need to bring in Sammer for this Lord of the Rings discussion. My famous friend Sammer. He's a big fan of this stuff. So this is exactly how I watched them. Is I was high. There's this scene. Again, don't remember what friggin' one it was. But I don't even remember the names of these people. One of them has a fucking wand and he's waving it around and whatever. And he just goes, yeah! And that's like it. And the one dude like flies back or whatever. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life when I was high watching this thing. I immediately screen recorded this. I sent it to Sam. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And he's like, you watched all of these films and this was your big takeaway, is the guy basically doing Howard Dean going, yeah, and friggin' one of the dudes flies back. I was like, yes, this is the only redeeming quality of these movies. Sat through 12 hours to watch this guy with a wand shoo off some other guy. Can't tell you these friggin' names. All right. No idea who these names are. There's Frodo. I know Frodo. It's not Harry Potter. I've seen one Harry Potter movie and I've seen it twice. All right. I've seen The Goblet of Fire. That's the only Harry Potter movie I've ever seen. I've watched it twice. That's it.
Was it because it was a lead into an AEW show and you just happened to be watching the whole thing? Like, what are we doing?
You want to know the story of this? All right, here it is. So this movie was in theaters when, I don't remember when, I was in high school, but there was this girl that I liked and she liked Harry Potter. So I went to go see it with her. That was the first time. The second time was I went to go see it with my friend who also liked Harry Potter, and we were good friends, and so we went to go see it. So I saw the same movie friggin' twice. I don't remember anything about this. They had a goblet. It was on fire. They picked names or something out of it. I don't fucking know. I think I did watch one of them like a little while ago. The wife loves the Harry Potter. So I watched, I think maybe the first one. I don't remember anything from it. They got the different houses, and I'm like, what house is this? Slytherin and Eutherian and Urethra. I don't know. And they got all these houses. Yeah, that's their names, right? They got all these houses and stuff. And then one house like cheats to win. Like, I'm like, all right, fine. You want some real movies? Fast and Furious, baby. That's real movies.
I skipped school to watch the second Fast and Furious movie because I'm old.
As you should.
Your wife did message me, by the way, saying I own all 8 movies and keep forgetting to make him watch them. So
I'm not going to do it. I'm not watching these movies.
I wasn't a big Harry Potter fan either. So I get it.
I'm going to play a game. We're going to watch these movies, and I'm going to take a bunch of Ambien, and I'm going to see which makes me pass out quicker, the Ambien or the movies. Either way, I win.
It's a bad case of guy on the ground. That is the best movie, by the way. If you're going to go watch any movie, go watch Role Models. That's the one you need to watch. Nothing else in this world matters. Role Models is the movie you need to watch. That and Hot Rod. Those are the 2 movies. Your Desert Island.
Factual.
Too Fast, Too Furious. That's cinema. That's it.
Factual.
We got a super chat from Monty Collins putting us back on track saying, street trash, when other words exist, it's true. Go
words
catch
things. Doesn't really mean anything.
I was going to plug their show, you know. Go watch Wrestling Made Me Cry. Came back this weekend. They're back, baby. Colleen Collins do a great job. Go check them out, please. And thank you. So we still haven't decided on a name. In fact, you and I haven't. Neither has the chat. It's just been a lot of not calling them street trash. We need some sort of, because we're not here to just shit on everything. We got to come up with an idea. We got to come up with something that's going to be much better than calling them street trash. But we don't know what.
Oh, you guys are going to give me some terrible ideas. So I look forward to writing these down and putting them in the, not street trash, but
the street trash can.
The green trash. Go ahead, everybody. Throw your shitty ideas for names at us.
All right. So far, we have Judgment Evening. That's not a good one.
Actually, I like that. I'm not writing that down. That's actually not bad.
2 Doms, 2 Tendies.
All right. Look, these aren't bad. I actually like these
Judgment Day. That one popped me. Street Rats. Take it from Aladdin. Since we are for the kids. Judgment Day, when law and order could exist. That's a problem with the trademark infringement. Highway Mess. What is Highway Mess?
Highway Mess.
Street trash?
Highway Mess is bad. We'll write that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Pile Driver finisher.
Oh, Louis got it on the nose. House of Porcher.
Nah, can't do that.
That's a good one. The Lords of Judgment. That's a Metallica song. The Lords of what's the Lords of something? I forget what the name of the Lords of Summer. Metallica. They're a band from the Bay Area. Allegedly. Judgment Day. There should be Judgment Day Purple and Judgment Day Priest and Rhea.
No. I don't like Judgment Day Purple. No, we're writing that down.
Can we call it the Purple Pack?
There's a woodpecker out there.
I don't think woodpecker is a good name for that group.
What is happening?
Wow, that really was a woodpecker. Did you get? What was that?
Told you there's like a woodpecker going on about.
Live forever. Amazing. If her and Damian Priest were a group, I'd give it to. Judgment Club. Not sure about that one.
Nah, I don't like Judgment Club.
4 guys, 1 girl. That's a different kind of show. It's Gollum. No, wait a minute. I don't think that's right. Step Judgment Day. Yeah, man, there's so many ideas here that we're just not using. But I don't know. Do you have
attendees? I actually like that.
Chicky tendies. Call them in the weeds.
Can we sue if they do that?
Unfortunately, we do not hold the trademark to In the Weeds.
We should.
Talk to Sean. I ain't doing that. I mean, I'm not doing the talking to Sean part of it. I don't need to talk to him about trademarking names.
Coward.
I got other things on my plate. Yeah, Yes, there's a woodpecker on, or multiple, who love our house.
What if they called themselves the Woodpeckers?
We did this. We can't do that.
Why?
It just doesn't work.
Sure it does.
Well, I guess if Liv's the one doing the woodpecking, then I guess so, Dominic Mysterio.
I like what about Liv Morgan and the Chicken Tender 4?
The Tender 4. It's Liv Morgan and the Tender 4.
The Tender 4? Okay.
Tender 4. It's absolutely just they're a pop punk band now.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. People keep using like allusions to Bullet Club and like other variations on it. They're not doing that. Like WWE is like, if we didn't think about it, we're not using it. So like the Balor Club was something that they so reluctantly used because Bullet Club was so hot at the time that they had to use some sort of like attachment to it. Bullet Club doesn't mean shit now. So they're just separated from that IP. The kids meal is a funny one.
The kids meal. That one's good.
And then people could be like, oh, you guys are like the kids table. You're such a bunch of pussies. Whatever you call them. Bunch of children. The box combo. Retribution Day. Now y'all are just taking old names and trying to do it. Although, that might be it right there. The Fantastic Four. It's actually a very good one. That's perfect. Call them the Final Testament.
Yeah, nobody else is using that name.
No one else is using that.
Yeah.
We can make good use of that. I like that. All right. Well, we figured it out. Call it the Final Testament. Put it down. That's the name we're gonna go with. Final Testament.
Judgment Day Gold.
Judgment Day Gold.
I think you go with the Judgment Day name. I think you got to get away from this. I like Liv Morgan in the Tender 4. Let's go full like band on this. They don't do that enough, you know? Like, they don't do anything like that. So we should start this.
I feel like calling them the Finn line is like drum line. Less bloodline. It just feels like the Finn line
rules.
Drumline, it does rule. It was a great movie. So I call them War Dogs. That's original. Yes. That's what I want to do.
Any t-shirts?
They do.
No egos, no leaders. Oh, I don't know if you go NENL. Nenel. I don't know about that. But no egos, no leaders. I see the vision there, Jose. I see it.
What else could you call them? No egos, no. Yeah, NENL. You got to figure out a different way to do it. The idea is there.
Liv Gun. Yeah, let's go with that.
I think you have to call them Liv Gun. Although Liv Gun is hilarious. Don't pull the trigger on my Liv Gun.
He-Man Rhea Haters Club. What do they just called like fuck Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley?
Yeah,
I mean, Liv's tweeting like no fuck you, and then R-Truth is trying to fine her for it.
Well, in my eyes, if
what if FDP?
People are going to get very confused in a lot of different ways. There's going to be some stuff that shows up on the internet.
And Ken Bruno are on the same page.
Yeah, you can't do FTP. People are going to. I mean, listen. The nerds will have a good time because it sounds like FTP, but then all the others will just be very confused.
I like FDP.
No. The No Homers Club, you like the No Damians Club. It would be funnier if they had a problem with one of the Braun Bronsons, because then you could do the No Bronze Club, and then someone could come out and be like, "We're allowed to have one," and then Braun Strowman comes out and he goes, and then he closes the clubhouse door. That's a Simpsons reference for those who didn't get it. You allowed in Homer Club, Nick? We're allowed to have one. Anyway, the Submission Sorority 2.0 is probably the one that we will go with. That's the answer.
Yeah, what's a good porn name that they don't realize is porn until they Google it, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we got to change this."
There's, I can't even do this.
I know our chat watches a bunch of porn, so throw out some suggestions.
There's nothing about this will turn off well. They should call it the Only Fins. That's the name of the group. Only.
Well, then everybody's got to change their name to Finn, though.
Finn Mysterio, Finn Morgan, Finn Balor, and Finn McDonough. I don't mind it. Do you?
Zarina's couch. I don't know that reference, and I'm afraid to Google it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Everyone seems to be popping for the OnlyFans. Feels like we found something here.
I think we're doing it.
Judgment Hub. Okay.
The Judgment. Everyone aboard the Judgment bus. Oh God. No, pile driver finisher. Oh. Finlito. Oh.
The circle jerks.
Oh God. All right. Our show is completely off the rails. It's good. We're back, baby.
Damian Priest is gonna call him that. He's gonna be like, you guys are in a circle and you're a bunch of jerks.
And then Rio just pop up. Yeah, the circle jerks. There we go.
It just feels like they're gonna call themselves like the Clubhouse or something.
Sure, I'll take that. Why not? You and I can just start calling them Only.
You can't call themselves the Clubhouse because you got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, who are the original club, or the OCs. You can't like call yourself the Clubhouse. That name sucks. I hope they don't use it. Judgment Tub. No, that's copyright on Priest right there. Priest has that name reserved.
So do we when we finally get our media passes for WrestleMania in our hot tub. The Clubhouse Club. Just call them the Bang Bang Gang. There you go. Just call them the Bang Bang Gang. The Rock and Roller. Remember when Finn used to call himself the Rock and Roller?
They should call themselves the Clit, Joel.
No, why?
The Coalition for the Liberation, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Stop it.
That's what they should call themselves.
Oh God. Yeah, the jerk.
I need Dom doing the J promo.
Oh God, this has become too much.
Just Dom staring at the camera, just going, I am the master of the clit. Remember this fucking face. Whenever you see clit, you'll see this fucking face. I make that shit work. It does whatever the fuck I tell it to do. No one rules the clit like me. Not this little fuck. None of you little fucks out there. I am the clit commander. Remember that. The commander of all the clits. When it comes down to business, this is what I do. I pinch it like, oh, you little fuck, then I rub my nose in it.
Oh, you really did have this memorized.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Louis giving you $2 for the trouble. No trouble at all. I assure you. Yeah, that's the Netflix move right there. It's gonna be it. Oh God. Yeah, you did. Jeremy did get me a little bit on that one. I'm thinking to myself, what's Liv's reaction in the background as Dominic is giving this impassioned speech?
She's just like smiling. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, she just got that shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Chi-Town Spurs sends a super chat saying, incoming Emmy, Sleepless Paul Heyman could never.
I don't know if I can turn that into a short. Just have the superimposed J over there. Just have Dominic. I don't know if I can make this work. Oh, shit. What are we talking about? What's going on here today?
Talking about street trash, but I think we've dedicated quite a lot of time to street trash. I'm sure we'll come around to it. Who am I kidding? I'm sure on Wednesday's show we'll have plenty to talk about when it comes to street trash.
Oh, Judge Mac and me. Oh
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh god, because if there's one thing I can get you, it's Judge back.
I'll put Jey Uso on a short just to mess with people.
Now you got to put Roman in because that's how you get all the views.
Oh, no, Solo got all the views, dude.
Solo one's good.
Shit did like 8,000 for some reason. Solo's a draw, brother. What do they do with Cody? Cody doing his like crying speech as it's me doing the Click Commander speech over it.
Just take a Dominic Mysterio with Liv, like the photos of them together, and just use those. The one where he's about to make out with Liv until Rhea comes out. That's the video.
Nah.
Yeah, or when Liv is stretching out Dominic on the couch.
That's where you put it. Maybe we'll see.
I'm sure you will.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, someone who's not going to join the Judgment Day or Street Trash or whatever they're going to be called next. I assume Daniel Garcia is not going to.
I don't know this. He might.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's going to join that group specifically, but he is poised to potentially become a free agent as of October. Bevel Select dropped an update last night on the status of Daniel Garcia. I'm pulling it up right now because I just want to have it out there. I'm going to read this verbatim, and I'll let you guys kind of figure out. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about what could work, what could not work. The picture has become clear on Daniel Garcia. Garcia hasn't been seen since a violent attack from MJF after an international title match with Will Ospreay. At the time, Fightful reported that his deal was up in October if he hadn't re-signed. One top name in the company believed that he was staying and speculated he'd re-signed, but as of last week, that wasn't the case. Garcia, as of then, would see his deal expire this fall. There is interest in Daniel Garcia from WWE, as well as interest in retaining him in All Elite Wrestling. Garcia had a tryout in WWE before signing with AEW several years ago. For some people, they said much ado about nothing. For others, the feeling is, well, he hasn't re-signed, despite reports of some saying that he had re-signed with AEW. So the question becomes, where does he fit in either space? I'm not trying to say, if you're Daniel Garcia, where would you go? Because that's not the question. We're not Daniel Garcia, and therefore we don't have an idea as to what he wants to do. But if he were to go to WWE, where does he fit? If he stays with AEW, he already has a ready-made, insertion point coming off the MJF beatdown and everything that comes from that. But like, what works for Daniel Garcia? What do you think when you read this whole thing?
I mean, if he's coming back to AEW, the easy thing is the MJF feud. That's who took him out. You come back and you immediately get inserted into that. Like, he was allegedly, supposedly, reportedly on televisionally, not an actual word. He was going to face MJF at All In. MJF agreed to the match, and then of course he's a heel, so he took him out. So it's not going to happen. But like, if you're Garcia, and I'm talking Garcia, not television right now, I'm talking like person. If you build up this MJF match and you say, yeah, we're going to face each other All In, and then you're not on All In, I'd probably feel some type of way about that. And if I'm Daniel Garcia, if on television you're telling me MJF has agreed to face me at All In, and this is the match you've teased for All In, and then you don't get that match at All In, you might not get any match at All In, I'd feel a little type of way about that. Now, maybe this is all a plan, and it was like, hey, go out there and just do this, and but it just feels weird to hint at this match on TV, and then we're obviously not going to get it unless he returns in the next week or so, and he is inserted into Ospreay and MJF, which isn't, I don't think is going to happen, but maybe it does. Maybe it does. But when it comes to All In, or when it comes to him in AEW, the MJF feud is right there. That's who took him out. That's who you would want to come back for. I saw somebody mention he could possibly be in the Casino Battle Royal. Like, that'd be a good spot for him. He'd go after the world title, but like, he's got a ready-made feud with MJF whenever he comes back. After that is kind of the big question mark, because if he wins, all right, cool. He could return and cost MJF at All In. Maybe that's the play. I don't know if they want to do that with Ospreay, though. I don't know if they want to go that way with Ospreay and MJF. Like, it feels like they want to have more of a straight up kind of thing and not do some type of run in. But I think it does make sense of MJF comes down to like cheer on Ospreay, and they're doing the whole thing of Ospreay won't use the Tiger Driver, but now it seems like he will use the Tiger Driver at All In. That's it seems where it's all leading. So maybe like he hesitates early in the match, and then all of a sudden we see Garcia later in the match, and Garcia's like, do it. Who gives a fuck about this guy? Just go ahead and break his neck. And then Ospreay does it. And it doesn't have to be like necessarily costing MJF in that way of like he interferes. It could just be him being out there gives Ospreay the extra juice he needs to do this move to MJF. So that's an easy call when it comes to AEW. I don't know. What are your thoughts when it comes to AEW side?
When it comes to AEW side, like you said, the easiest thing to do is to, and I kind of mentioned at the top, is to slot him back in where he was taken out. And that's with MJF. And that's a top level feud. That is one of your top guys in the company. And it works and it fits. And the story is there. But also, Garcia has had so many storyline opportunities to break out. And it seems like they get so far and then everything just kind of falls apart. King Potatoes mentioning the You're a Wrestler storyline. That could have been a moment for Daniel Garcia to break out in AEW. And I don't know if what happened there ended up playing into some sort of, backstage feeling about how Garcia was presented or valued by the company. And as a result, do you, as Daniel Garcia, do you want to stick around for that? Or do you want to try and find your next steps? And that's where we get into the NXT talk. In terms of AEW, there is limitless potential because Daniel Garcia is an incredible talent. He can wrestle. We know that. He found a way to become entertaining on camera in a way that started off as a bit comedic in a shticky way. And then you saw the promos, and then you saw he went from I do the dance a lot to I do the dance a little bit, but then I wrestle and I make you want to cheer for me. He did a really good job of getting people invested in him. I think that's a really good thing. He's come a long way from the times that I used to see him at Greektown Wrestling in Toronto, and I would look at him and I'd be like, oh, this guy's doing some good stuff. I watched him and RJ City have a match. That's a clash of styles, and they had a really good one. And that's just the beginning of really everything I got to see from Garcia. And then he goes to AEW, and again, we like we just said, he had a couple of moments here and there, but nothing ever became anything. If he decides that he wants to stay with AEW, this return has the potential to break him into that next level. But it does come down to paying off the story. And so far, the track record isn't that great when it comes to Daniel Garcia and his presentation.
Yeah, they gotta actually elevate him, because it seemed like there was there with the Danielson stuff, and they didn't push it further. Then it seemed like because he was aligned with Jericho, but even without the alignment of Jericho, like just let's focus on the Danielson feud itself. Like that should have elevated him further. The split from Jericho, it seemed like there was something to potentially elevate him further. That split from Jericho, nobody really benefited from that. Garcia probably should have beaten Jericho in some regard there, but they never had a match. Nothing really happened. And then after the Continental Classic, it seemed like there was something there because everyone was praising like the backstage promos. He did a great job. And like when he finally beat like Brody King and got his like only victory in the tournament, people were like, oh, this is so great. Like there was something there multiple times with Daniel Garcia, and they just never fully pulled the trigger on him. And I don't know why. I don't know who makes that call overall. I mean, we know who makes the call overall, but I don't know why they didn't elevate him off of this stuff. They just didn't. They just talked about restoring the feeling and the feeling and the feeling and the feeling, but then they didn't actually like do anything to elevate him up to that next level. The MJF feud and the match with Ospreay, like that should get him there. But if he's just going to come back and lose the MJF, it doesn't really do anything to service him there. It's like, all right, he got beat by MJF after being taken out by MJF. Like, what does that do? Where does he fit? They got spots clearly. I'm not even saying like he needs a title, because I think the title stuff is a little bit overrated as far as, okay, you have this title. What does that actually mean? I think everyone will tell you they would rather have a good story, a good amount of television time to tell what they're going to tell, whether in the ring or on the mic or backstage or whatever it be, over let me carry this title and like not really do anything with it. I think most people will tell you that people want to be on TV and be creative and use that outlet more than just, hey, cool, you gave me this title, but I'm never used. Like, what does that actually accomplish? It's like, it's cool, but I'd rather just be on television all the time instead of carrying around this title. So they got something with MJF if that's where if he comes back and they go there. But again, if he's just going to lose and then nothing comes of that, what does that really mean? As far as WWE goes, people are joking about NXT and get ready to learn Chase U. Everyone should be thrilled to be in Chase U. Chase U rules. Got the greatest worker of all time.
DGU, let's go.
Yeah, got the greatest worker of all time. And Thea Hale on there. I mean, NXT, he could be there for a while. I saw people say no core catch crew as well. He could possibly fit there. He can do stuff in NXT. I'm not sure where he fits in the WWE landscape, and I'm not saying that. Okay, go ahead.
He is a product of Buffalo. You know who else is a product of Buffalo?
The Bills.
The Dawn of NXT. They make reference to it now.
Okay.
He has his background is in wrestling at the University of Buffalo. He's got to join the Dawn. He's got to join Tony D. He's going to be Tony D and Danny G with Stax and what's his face? And Rizzo. And he does the dance, but the dance is like, it's perfect. I think that's the answer.
I'm actually okay with this. That's not a terrible idea.
And when he did his WWE tryout, he was on 205 Live, and I'm pretty sure he was like Daniel Rojas. So I just remember weird things because I remember seeing him on 205 and being like, is that Danny Garcia under a new name? And then, of course, he then started doing Dark and Elevation, and then he got signed. Oh, my God, we're still naming the group. It's going to be called the G-Spot with Danny Garcia. That's going to be – he's going to get a Mike Awesome – you can't do Fat Chick Thriller anymore because WCW it doesn't work anymore. But he's gonna become the player, and it's gonna be the G-Spot. It's gonna be him and Ashanti the Adonis. They're gonna be a tag team, a womanizing tag team, and they'll have not womanizing. They'll be smooth talkers.
Yeah,
and then you call them the G-Spot when they do their sit down segments. Is that it?
I'm not mad at this. That's okay.
Everyone's got to have a gimmick. Yeah. Okay. Everyone's trying to put him in the LWO. I get it. His last name is Garcia. I get it. Stop trying to do it.
Yeah, I don't know where he fits on like main roster. You can slot him into any of these groups in NXT, and I think he can make it work. He's shown enough personality to where he can make this stuff work. Even if you're not thrilled with what he's shown on television, go watch some of these Being the Elite episodes anymore, and he's doing stuff with Private Party and everything. They're doing basketball segments. They're doing inside the NBA stuff during the trios, the best of 7 trios match between Death Triangle and the Elite. He's a good, entertaining guy, so he can do some of this character stuff in NXT. I don't know where he fits on the main roster because they just have so many guys that they're already utilizing and they don't have space for. So where does he actually fit on that show? I don't really know. So Imperium, maybe Gunther takes him under his wing as a serious wrestler.
What's his new international name at that point?
What?
What's his new international name at that point?
Heck yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure the chat will have something. Can't just call him Daniel Garcia. He's got, if he joins Imperium, he's got to get a name. DGIY.
DGIY. It's not bad. I like that.
Does he need to be in a group? Does he need to be in a group? Can he come in and be his own guy with the proper presentation? Do you give him a mouthpiece? Again, I mentioned that as he was kind of moving through AEW in his last run, you started seeing a lot of really positive improvement with his mic skills and his promo delivery. This is why, again, I do kind of stick to the NXT thing, because I'd like to see him progress on the microphone. And Meet Normus, sends a good super chat here saying DG as a member of the American Made. That's a good idea. You could do that. The only caveat to that is they have to change his story around to be a more US Olympic wrestler style guy. And that's not DG style. Like, he's a good pro wrestler, but he's not known for being a wrestler.
Yeah, I don't know if he's not an amateur wrestler like those other guys are. So I don't know if he quite fits. Like, his pro wrestling technical ability is kind of there, but it doesn't quite fit what American Made is. Honestly, like him in Alpha Academy, of him being the new leader for Otis and Tozawa, because like they need something there. Like, I'm not fully mad at that. There's spots you can put him in. I just don't know if I just don't know where he fully fits with everything they have going on right now. And I wouldn't bring him in to just like put him on speed or anything. I mean, you could bring him in. He could fit in the sort of US title picture on SmackDown with Escobar and Carmelo and Andrade. Like, he could probably hold his own in that little area. So there's something there. I think if you get a guy like Daniel Garcia, you're not just going to immediately, cast him aside and do nothing with him, obviously. But they're both companies are so talent rich right now that it just feels like if you miss out on your spot, like, you're just by the wayside. And unfortunately, Garcia, they've missed a couple occasions with him. And now if they're going to bring him back, they got to actually go with it.
Daniel Garcia, third member of Pretty Deadly. Danny Martinez.
I mean, I get it, but like, I don't know if that's the best use of Daniel Garcia.
Could you imagine him just being like, yes, boy? He has the lead role in the play. That's how you debut him? Come on. I'm printing money.
I like Daniel Garcia. I like Pretty Deadly. They're great. This is not how I would utilize Daniel Garcia.
Pretty Deadly Garcia. He'll be PD Garcia.
This is not how I would
utilize
Daniel Garcia.
It's a very interesting thing to cover, because DG was like, he was part of, like you said, he was part of that restoring the feeling story. He was the guy trying to, quote, restore the feeling at the same time that MJF was like, we got to restore the feeling. Him not re-signing with AEW does feel like a swing and a miss, because this is a guy that has been, I don't want to say an integral part, because he's clearly not, because he's not featured weekly on the TV. But when I say integral, I mean someone that was like a light post to your building, to your future in AEW. And if you lose that, I'm not saying you're not going to get that back, but there are going to be some people who look at it and be like, oh man, what happened? Someone's saying, him not re-signing hurts the feeling. And there's kind of a truth to that. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a tribalistic thing. It's just one of those things where people will look back and be like, what happened? What went into that decision? And that would be, if Daniel Garcia were to go to WWE, that would be his, choice to talk about in any fashion he chooses. But it's just cool that there are options for these wrestlers to go and make money and do well. So that's kind of where we come down on this, is go where you make the most money and where you get the most opportunity. And wherever that is, that's where you should be.
I mean, A-Shock mentioning, isn't WWE thinking of wanting Ricky Starks and Lucha Bros signed? Where does Daniel Garcia fits if he leaves AEW to? Just do the Radicals. All four of them showing up front row. What's the NXT against I don't know when all these contracts are up, by the way, but the NXT head-to-head show with Dynamite Title Tuesday, that's a traveling show. That's in St. Louis.
I think that's the second. Yeah, that's the second one in October.
You get just those four sitting front row at that show. They come in, they jump Trick Williams after he wins in the main event. And there you go. You put them all in a group.
It's the Radicals. It's 22 years. No, I'm repeating, like it's 24 years after the Radicals. You can do that. This is, again, Triple H loves revisiting all these storylines. You got a pay-per-view coming back called Bad Blood, and everyone's saying there's going to be a Hell in a Cell because it's the anniversary of the pay-per-view and the Hell in a Cell match. That would be a moment. Having them all show up on the CW on the debut episode or the week after, that would be a moment. And I'm sure they would love to be a part of an angle. You know who they beat down? They don't beat down Trick. They go after Randy that first week, because that's where they're going to be. You could do something like that, and it wouldn't be bad. And then they all get to redo an episode of One Tree Hill because it's the CW, right? Give the new Radicals. That's what you
It should be CM Punk should be their leader.
Yes, he puts on the armband and everything.
We get CM Punk leading Starks, Garcia, and the Lucha Bros.
You gotta put a woman in there, otherwise CM Punk's not going to be a part of it.
Why?
You don't see every single photo that he posts when he goes down to NXT?
Who's left from AEW? What female talent? Jade? They can put Jade in that group.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, what's Anna Jay up to after Japan?
Nah,
can't
do that.
That's true. No, you can. You can, and it's even funnier.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh, that would be perfect. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness. Yeah, we use bracelets instead of armbands. Instead of him putting up a big armband, he just puts on a new friendship bracelet with all their names on it. No, Anna Jay's the only one I want. This is the only one I want to be a part of this whole thing. Punk, we're gonna put you in a new group. All right, who's in it? Yeah, someone's saying Ren Sinclair. No. Keep her with no quarter catch crew.
These like Blair Davenport, Ren Sinclair, like we're not going to these people, but they worked like 2 shows for AEW. It's not like they were main storyline people like Garcia, Starks, and Lucha Bros and Punk. Like we would need top talent from AEW female roster who would come over.
The one thing about Anna Jay is that the story that can come from that and the Cody story that eventually comes from it. CM Punk's leading this group. You got the Anna Jay thing, and it's very uncomfortable. And then Anna Jay, eventually CM Punk turns heel, or this is his heel turn, and he's leading this group. And Anna Jay just says to Cody, "You know, I tapped out your wife, right?" And then we get that. That's just one extra step to Cody and CM Punk's storyline.
Okay.
Thanks for that. Okay, I like the idea of the 4 at least. I don't want CM Punk leading this group unless Anna Jay is part of it. Then I want it.
Nah, don't do that.
Could be fun. Who knows?
No. Like there's real relationships here, so we're not going to put Anna Jay in a group with CM Punk with everything.
You don't know how these people are now. They could be friendly. They could be okay.
Jack Perry and CM Punk are friendly and okay.
Maybe Anna doesn't really care. She just wants to work. Maybe Punk just wants to help them. Call them the Colliders. There it is.
Nah, we're not going to put Anna Jay with this group. The Colliders would actually be fantastic if CM Punk led this group. And he's like, these are the Colliders. That name sucked.
That's the word I want. Oh God! Speaking of Collision and Colliders, you want to talk about AEW Collision this past week? Very much talk.
Go back.
You want to what?
Said talk about yeah. Like we're not doing that thing. I don't know. Collision happened. It was fine.
Honestly, the best match of the night was the Thunder Rosa Deonna Purrazzo Texas Bull Rope match. I thought it was good. I still don't know why we did this, considering Deonna won all of the other matches going into this. So there was nothing at stake other than Thunder Rosa getting a victory.
They'll run it back at some point, keep it going.
I guess. Listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo have great chemistry. I would like to see them separated for a little while before we revisit anything like that. But otherwise, the match was just the match was there to happen. And sure, it's the blow off to a feud that already had Deonna win the more amount of matches. There were a lot of things on this show where I was like, why did we do this way? A good example of this. Well, first of all, again, I start this off by saying Deonna Thunder, very good match. There were a lot of really solid matches. The Christian Cage being the referee that spears Buddy Murphy Buddy Matthews at the end of that, the 10 count, that was hilarious. The finish of that match was great. The match itself was good. There was a lot of really good stuff to like, but there were some moments on that show where I was just watching and being like, why did the Outrunners and FTR go nearly 10 minutes?
Because Outrunners rule.
But if they rule, why haven't they had a match longer than 3 minutes and they keep taking L's, except for last week on Ring of Honor, and the Acclaim beat the Outrunners in like 50 seconds when they faced each other in like 2023 or something.
Well, FTR is still working back from their injuries here, like they still got to get their feet under them a little bit. It's taken them a little while. All they've done is really, they went like 10 minutes against MXM Collection as well, and then they've done 6-man tags, so it was like it was okay. The biggest issue was like the match was just like if you're into a 10-minute match, I need to just kind of a better 10-minute match.
Yeah, you just basically made my point for me. Leo, love Leo Rush. Leo Rush is now making matches with Lexi Nair next to him. And Lexi in the last segment had an earpiece on, so she probably has the same earpiece on now, getting messages from Tony Khan like she would have in the ring. What happened? Why is Leo Rush coming in with text messages from Tony being like, oh, I'm making this mess now? What is this? That was another moment where I was like, we didn't have to get this there. What are we doing?
Why? What? I don't understand your point of why.
It's a point of logic. If Lexi Nair has an earpiece and in the last segment when she's in the ring doing a interview and says, oh, I just got word from Tony Khan that it's going to be at All In the 0 hour. It's going to be Stokely Hathaway and Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. That's happening. And of course they go wild and everything happens. And then they go right to the back and she's in the back and she's wearing the earpiece again. And instead of her being like, oh, I'm getting from Tony Khan now, this match is going to happen. Instead it was Leo Rush walks in and says, oh, I got a text from Tony. This match is happening. It's a tag match.
Leo sent the text. Leo sent Tony like, hey, let's make this match happen. And Tony just delivered it to Leo Rush instead of Lexi.
But why isn't Tony the one getting to Lexi and saying this match is happening if he's the overarching person watching the show who makes the matches? Why does Leo get to be the one to make the match?
It's not Leo. It's Tony Khan who still made the match. He just sent it to Leo instead of Lexi.
But why didn't he send it to the person who does the backstage correspondence and has the earpiece and just did this in the last segment?
This is way too nitpicky here.
Yeah, because I'm
Way
getting
too.
nitpicky about sending in a wrestler to do the work that is typically done by the person who runs the show. Why does the wrestler get to be the one who does it? You've already brought in Christopher
Because
Daniels.
Leo asked for it.
What is he there for?
Leo asked for it. Leo, he's aligned with Top Flight, so we was like, all right, well, let's do it next week. And Tony Khan was like, yeah, let's do it next week. This sounds great. Leo sent the first message, and then Tony responded. This seems pretty simple to me. Instead of Leo sent the first message, and then Tony's like, oh, let me tell Lexi. He just responded to Leo.
Fine. I still think that Lexi should have been the one to get the message and say it's happening.
Who fucking cares?
I'm wondering why this goes on this way.
I just told you why.
I understand that. I still wonder what they needed to do to get there and why they needed to just send him in and have it happen that way. Shida. Okay. Hikaru Shida wins a match and wants to have a match against Mercedes Moné. Gets that on Wednesday. Have Shida beat.
Why did Tony Khan announce this match on Twitter instead of telling Lexi Nair to announce this match?
I mean, I agree. You could easily be using the television program that you're airing the show on to tell me that the match is happening. Could have done that too. Could have been Lexi. It could have been a match. It could have been something. Have Shida win, and it's going to be Shida versus Britt it all in.
Her and Mercedes is going to be great. Looking forward to it.
Sure. I'm sure it's going to be a good match. And I don't know if you have anything else.
No, you're the one upset about why Tony Khan didn't send a message to Lexi Nair and instead texted Leo Rush.
I'm wondering why the boss needs to text Leo Rush to send a message when the person who runs the interview with the people who are going to be in the match are right there and he knows that they're doing it.
Joel, if you texted Sean right now of like, hey, can we go 10 minutes long today? I'm not saying you need to
watching this show live as it airs right now.
He might be. You don't know.
He's not producing the show. I'd see him right in the bottom corner.
Let me make.
He's not the one producing the show in the background.
Joel, if you texted Sean right now of say, hey, can we go 10 minutes long today? And instead Sean tells me in my ear, yes, we can go 10. Why wouldn't he just text you back and be like, yeah, you can go 10 minutes? Why does he need to tell me this when you sent the text message?
Once again, Sean's not here to produce this show and he's not in the background. So all of this becomes moot. Tony Khan is watching the entirety of the show happen in front of his eyes.
Maybe not. Maybe Tony was off, getting a bagel or something. He didn't see this particular segment.
Why wouldn't he have a runner go do it? There are plenty of gophers who can do the stuff backstage for him.
Because Tony is a man who likes to do things himself.
I don't think about that when it comes to him producing the television show in front of him. I think he's more focused on the task at hand than he is about the other stuff.
Tony needed to go get his own bagel. He likes it a very specific way. Or coffee. He needed coffee. You know what I'm saying?
Tony definitely needs coffee. Believe me, there are plenty of people back there who can get Tony the coffee he needs.
Tony's got to get it just how he wants it, though.
And he has a person. He has an assistant who gets the coffee.
Do you know this?
It happens every time. Someone always gets that coffee for him.
Do you know this? Are you positive?
100%. He's busy taking pictures with hologram and the kids.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not what's happening at the time. The only good bagels come from Einstein. I don't know about that, Louis. I do want bagels. I had one this morning and it wasn't very good, so I'm a little upset as a result.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the same. It wasn't what it should have been.
No.
Anyway, that was Collision. Let's talk about the
bury the lead on Collision. The 6-man tag that got no winner.
Roman Reigns came back on Friday night.
All right, fine.
What do you want me to say? Christian Cage counted everyone out, and now there's going to be the Acclaimed are going to face the Young Bucks on Wednesday for the tag titles, which I'm sure after the match FTR will come out and say we want the winners at All In.
That would suck if that's how we get to the Bucks and FTR again. I'd rather than do.
When they announced, I was like, "What? Okay." And then FTR comes out and they say, "Or they're going to make the match for Cardiff." Oh, look at that! Right, I make the reference, and all of a sudden, Jeremy's gone again. I see how this works. That's how it always go. The Wednesday show, don't get me wrong, like Dynamite looks like it's going to be a fun show, a good show. Some of the ways that they get to some of these matches kind of make me annoyed. And that's what happens. That's just the way it is with wrestling sometimes. Not everything goes the way that you would book it. But the FTR feel like they're going to come out after the match between the Acclaimed and the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks retain. FTR come out and they say, "Oh, we get it. We're going to get this tag title shot. Give it to us at All In." And if the Bucks are going to be dicks about it, what I would do is have them make the match for Wales. Have them make the match for when they're there. We go. Are you back?
My StreamYard just died. That wasn't even like an internet issue. Like my StreamYard just said, "Fuck off."
That was impressive. You just suddenly like crashed, and I'm like,
yeah,
power suddenly.
No. Like it was legit StreamYard. Like I got the pop on the StreamYard that was like, "Error has incurred. You have lost connection." Like that's the StreamYard page. My internet was fine.
Amazing. What I was saying was the one thing that the Bucks can do to kind of put heat on themselves, but still do the match with FTR is say, "No, we're not going to do it at All In. We're going to do it at in Wales on Dynamite or on not on Collision, on Dynamite."
I thought that was dumber than Lexi Nair not relaying a message of Claudio being like, "I want this match on Dynamite." Why wouldn't you want this at All In? Why do you want this match at Dynamite? You want to be on the biggest show. I guess maybe he's entering the gauntlet. And so maybe he's like, "Oh, I'll win the Continental title and then enter the gauntlet." Like in that case, I'll forgive it a little bit. But otherwise, why wouldn't you want this match at the pay-per-view? Why would you want this on just Dynamite?
What about I don't know, what about Pac? Does he just come in after the match in Cardiff and just say, I'm gonna beat you at All In, or I get the winner at All In?
Well, he's going after the international title.
That's
/
right.
American title, not the Continental title. Please pay attention to the story, Joel.
Sorry, there are 50 million titles in the company, and I have to keep track of all.
So this is a dumb argument. This is a dumb argument. I saw some grifter account. I don't even want to give it credit.
Don't.
Can you name all the champions in AEW and ROH? There's just as many titles in WWE if you want to count NXT. So it's a dumb argument. It's stupid. If you can't keep up with it and you can't pay attention to it, I'm not saying you, Joel, just in general, that's your own fucking problem. But there's just as many if you're going to count NXT. If you're going to count ROH, then count NXT. Okay? You count Speed as well. Andrade's carrying that damn thing on television.
Well, no, he's not. That's the thing.
They show him in the graphic with it.
Me too, but you don't know what that belt's about.
So
unless you turn into WWE Speed every Wednesday at noon Eastern on WWE, on X, on Coke, on Molly.
It's dumb. This title stuff is dumb. Both companies have too many, honestly.
So first of all, yes, absolutely. It's a stupid thing. I agree with you on that. What I will say is when it comes to who is getting what title shot at what time, that has been the confusing part. And you and I have talked about this as well. Darby gets the TNT title shot at All In, and then he's going to get a world title shot at Grand Slam. And now we have the Casino Grand Slam, and that's going to be for a title shot. They didn't even say world title, did they? Or did they just say a title shot? It is world title. So that's going to come a time TBD. And then you've got as well what's going on with Pac, and it's for the international title. And of course, I messed it up just now and said it was for the continental title, because again, it's less about how many titles at that point. It becomes who's vying for what based on the matches that they won. So that's where the frustration lies, at least for me. It's like, who's doing what for what title? That part gets a little confusing.
Fair. Just pay attention.
Nah, asking too much. That's all I got. Yeah, you follow it. I made a mishap. I made a mistake. So Pac is going for the international championship, and he's not getting that match at All In. Is that a match at All Out then?
What, Pac? Oh,
the Pac
I
match.
assume so. I mean, I don't know, but that would make sense if you do Pac and the winner of Ospreay and MJF for at All Out, and it feels like Ospreay wins. You could set up a pretty good all-out card in maybe Pac and MJF at Cardiff, but I feel like you can set up a good all-out card if you do Pac and, let's say, Ospreay. Let's say Daniel Garcia comes around, and you can do Daniel Garcia and MJF at All Out. You can do your world title match, Danielson against the winner of whoever wins the Casino Gauntlet. You get 3 pretty big matches there for All Out, because you only got 2 weeks to sell this card, but you've kind of already established Pac as the number 1 contender. You've established something with Garcia and MJF, and then you establish on a 2-week build whoever the Casino Gauntlet winner is against Danielson. And maybe it is somebody that Danielson has some sort of history with, so you can play off of that on a shorter build.
I just don't want to see Pac challenge MJF before All In, because just like doing Sheeta and Mercedes for a title when there's a match between Mercedes and Britt in 2 weeks, it's like, why are you giving this almost certain, the certainty that Mercedes is going to beat Sheeta and the All In match remains intact? So if you do Pac and MJF in Cardiff, what's the point? Because it's probably going to be MJF that wins. Pac versus Ospreay is not a bigger match than Ospreay versus MJF. So I would rather they use it later and make it a bigger match at All Out, because at least then you have something to look forward to in 2 weeks after All In. I'd have Pac have him come out after the All In match and just be like, All Out, we're doing this. And then he set up the match right away.
Pac, Jose Alvarado mentions like Pac saying like, I want my Wembley moment, and then him not being, unless he's in the Casino Gauntlet, like, it seems like they're going to put a lot of people in that match, because right now they don't have a ton of matches on this show. They're obviously going to add a bunch more because it's AEW and they're going to have 15 matches, which is fine. But they're going to add the trios match, which I assume will be a 6, I guess technically 9-way trios match for those titles. They'll add a tag team title match. Maybe it's just Bucks and FTR. Maybe it does turn into a 3-way. And then those are probably 2 guarantee matches. And then the Casino Gauntlet's going to be a pretty long match, though, especially if they're going to stack it with a bunch of names and everything. Like, that's going to be a pretty long match. So I think we'll see new additions, and maybe Pac is in the Casino Gauntlet, and that's where he fits on this whole thing.
You and SB3 must have talked about this Casino Gauntlet being announced on Friday.
Not really.
No?
No.
I'm a little surprised, because there was part of me that was like, okay, cool. I'm glad that they're doing this match and they're bringing it back. But also part of me was like, but is it too soon, given that you're already doing Darby for a world title shot, and now you're doing another match that has a world title shot implication attached to it? There was like, I see the reason, I see the vision. I like what they're doing, but are we going to the well too many times for this one particular match?
Well, they did the last one when Ospreay won, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that was the last one that they did. I don't know if they're going to the well too many times. Maybe it's a little too early, but clearly they like this match. It leads to great matches. Like, the way it's structured, it leads to a really good action that people enjoy. And my complaint of it is still the same I've always had, is when it can end with the first 2 competitors, but like, it's not going to. So they're doing this match this Wednesday. It was Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and I think O'Reilly are facing, and the winner gets the number 1 spot in the Casino Gauntlet. And like, in theory, that's what you want. You want that number 1 spot, but because we know there's going to be like 12 competitors, maybe more, and it's going to go long, like, you don't really want that number 1 spot. This is where I would have, at some point, you got to do a finish within like the first 4 people. And so then it actually establishes, oh, this can end at any time. Because if you just keep doing, oh, here comes 15 competitors, 13, they don't really give you a name of how many there are. It's just like, this is the final person. And it's like, all right, you don't really want to be in that first spot, because it just goes however many deep at the first time. That's why maybe elimination style might change, but they don't want to beat anybody on that. Again, at some point when you do this match, you gotta have it end early, and that be that, and then it sells the whole sudden death angle of this. That's one thing I want to see. I don't think they're going to do it here because they're planning surprises and they got they want to feature as many names as possible. But the next time they do this, if they do this as a television match at some point later in the year, have it end early just to let fans know, oh shit, it is good to come in second or first or fourth instead of being 13th.
It's going to be funny when they do it for a shot at like the Continental Championship or for the Ring of Honor TV Championship, and then that's when they do the first one.
Yeah, that's when it would run its course if it becomes something like that. Like so far, it's just been world title. So like, all right, it's an important match.
Yeah, my feeling is just if it's once a quarter, that's better. This was something that TNA was doing with Ultimate X. It felt like they just kept doing Ultimate X matches to the point where as they approached their 20th year, they're like, it's time for our 57th Ultimate X match. And you're like, 57? What are we doing? And like the back half of them had been in the last like 5 years. So I hope that they don't get into that because again, I said the Casino Gauntlet, while the first time they ran it confused a lot of people, now that they've gotten the hang of it and people understand the rules, it has become a really fun match for them to put on. But you can't do it too many times because if you do it too many times, then you're just gonna, you might just burn out the importance of the match. But doing it at this show, like you said, a lot of people can get spotlit. But also, is there such a thing as too many moments in a match like this that you just kind of bury one? Michael Oku is, of course, someone being discussed in this whole thing as potentially being part of this. That's a cool name. Ricochet, of course, has not made his AEW debut, but he is expected to be going that way. Is that a debut that you make? Beast Mortos is currently on a big role in AEW and Ring of Honor. He's getting a world title shot. Is that a Ring of Honor World Championship match? Is that a moment? Like, what is too much in a match like this?
I don't think, if using the names you mentioned, I don't think any of that's too much. Okay, you have Michael Oku, who is cool, is kind of debuting, or AEW debuting, but I don't know if that's a long-term thing. That just might just be a hometown kind of pop. A Mox return, okay, cool. A Ricochet debut. Because of the structure and people get like it's 3 minutes. I don't know what the time is, but we'll say 3 minutes because it's like 3 minutes between and like they're in there the whole time until the final pinfall happens. Because otherwise you would say, oh, does WWE do too many moments with the Royal Rumble with return pops and things? I don't think you can necessarily do too many on this, especially if one's a return like Moxley, one's a debut like Ricochet, and one's just a hometown pop. Like, I think that's fine. Beast Mortos is whatever. He's on television the whole time. That doesn't mean anything.
I'm just using him
hologram,
because
same thing.
That's selfie, and everyone's thinking about him now. Very, very good-looking man, that Beast Mortos.
Yeah.
Go check it out if you're into that. And if you're not, you know what? Just go and enjoy it because he's a good-looking dude. Thinking about that now. It's good stuff.
I don't know if we're getting Kenny at this show. I wouldn't hold my breath on that. Like, if it happens, cool. Would not hold my breath on it.
I feel like if you see Kenny, it's a moment, like an announcement type of thing. Maybe he does the announced attendance and they do a little segment and he's not active, but he's part of it. If he does another problem, like, can he fly? Can he do the travel? Is he cleared for that? Because that's a whole other can of worms, doing a long flight like that after the surgery he's had. Who knows? All In is in a couple of weeks. We're looking forward to talking about that. The show is probably, like you said, going to get packed more as the next 2 weeks kind of unfold. But looking forward to it. There's some good stuff going on. As long as it's Lexi Nair announcing all of the matches. No one else. Just Lexi. I want her announcing all of the Learning Tree matches.
Oh, yeah,
What's Jericho? When are they going to announce Jericho versus Hook for the FTW title? Or is it going to be the Learning Tree, the Learning 3 versus like Hook, Mimosa Joe, and Shibata in some sort of 6-man FTW title rules match?
That match sucks.
Yes, it does, but it's probably going to happen in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Anyway. Gonna be good. SmackDown, because we got a little bit of time, and then we can do Raw, and then we'll get out of here. Roman Reigns is back again. Came out at the end of the night. The Ula Fala became a big point of conversation as Solo dropped it. Roman wanted to pick it up. He did for a second, and Tama Tonga got his hands on it as he was about to deliver it to Solo. He kind of stopped for a second to Tama Tonga and stared longingly at it. Are we looking at Tribal Chief Tama Tonga?
Not anytime soon.
Oh, baby.
It's just, it's just the Ula Fala has the power. And so Tama Tonga showed, I thought it was a good bit by Tama. I don't think it's going to lead to anything too immediate. I certainly wouldn't expect that. But it was a good point by Tama, whether it was told, whether he did it, of like showing just the importance of this, of like if somebody like Tama Tonga has this in his hands and he's like, oh fuck, this is a big deal. Like it shows importance. So I thought that was a good job by Tama.
Yeah, it was good stuff. The way that he came out, that Roman came out, everyone's behind him, man. Everyone's ready. Louis did bring it back in the best way possible. It's the ring from the Lord of the Rings. Oh, Thomas should have been like my precious. Instead, Jacob Fatu is not part of this right now. They're saying that he's injured on WWE programming. We never got the official word as to how severe an injury was coming out of SummerSlam. And, Phil Lindsay from Grapsity mentioned the idea, like, what if this is kind of kayfabe 2.0? Fatu's actually okay. He's just playing it up. And the whole reason that he's not on TV is to keep him away from Roman, to let Roman have that aura until we finally get Fatu and Roman face to face. Because that's something that people talk about and they're thinking about. Is this possibly a case of the injury being exaggerated? I wouldn't hate it personally. What do you think?
I wouldn't either, because when I'm watching this segment on Friday, I'm thinking, why would you want Jacob Fatu part of this? And clearly you don't want Roman to show real weakness right now, which is smart. He's Roman Reigns. He hasn't shown weakness for years. So you don't want him to just get beat down, but also they obviously know they have something in Jacob Fatu just based on the way they've booked him since his debut. They haven't really had him show any weakness either. So to keep him away from Roman for the time being, instead of just getting beat down like Tama and Tongaloa, would be a smart idea. So either they're doing it to protect Jacob, which is smart, or they've almost lucked into something where they've been able to not have them go at each other, so it feels bigger. Now, if Jacob Fatu is actually out for a long time, then they can't pay it off anytime soon. But if Jacob Fatu is not actually hurt and he's just kind of off to sell things until whenever he might need to, and look, it's a good way to go about it, because if Roman just came out and he beat down Jacob Fatu the same way he beat down Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, you'd probably think lesser than Jacob. And they should not be doing that with him. So if they've worked this injury, they've done a very good job with it. And the fact that we don't have too much as far as the injury is concerned, like, he was seen in a walking boot, but we haven't heard anything about him not traveling. We haven't heard anything about him getting like MRI or any type of scan. So it does make me believe they are kind of working this.
Which, again, like I said, I don't hate. I would love to let them just have that be the moment between Jacob Fatu, and Roman Reigns. Before Solo went out, he was looking at the Guerrillas of Destiny, as I'm calling them, and he said, he'll be here. Who was he talking about? Was Solo saying Roman was going to be here?
Yeah.
Or was he trying to make reference that maybe Jacob Fatu was supposed to be there, but he didn't show up?
No, I thought it was Roman. He'll be here. I mean, Roman was advertised. Solo read the rundown.
It's true. But was Solo trying to say Roman's going to be here and I'm going to confront him? Or was this he's going to be here, someone's going to protect me, and they didn't show up? They kind of made that a little bit nebulous. Like they just let it sit. Nobody asked the question, but I don't know if that was supposed to be Roman's coming, Roman will be here, or is this someone else is coming to join us? And they either didn't show up or they're coming, they're on their way. There's only one person that's really left that is waiting to debut in some way, shape, or form, and that's Hikuleo. We don't know what, where, when, or why that's happening. Well, we know why. We don't know when.
What if he was talking about The Rock? What if The Rock?
I mean, and then he's just like, Rock, you said he'd be here. It's like, no. I said I'll be there for Netflix.
I didn't take anything other than Roman, because he was talking about Roman, and they said they were looking for Roman, they couldn't find him, and then earlier in the night, Solo was like, I'll deal with Roman Reigns later. I thought he was always talking about Roman, and it was like, he'll be here. I'm gonna go to the ring. I got this Ula Fala. He wants this. He'll be here. So let's just go out there and let him come to us. And then he came to them. And he whooped all their asses.
He did. Made the Grills of Destiny look like real bitches.
Man, when he throws that one up for the first time, they're gonna have to replace everything, because everything is gonna get so wet in that arena. Like,
put the tarps down. Just put tarps down around the ringside area. Whoosh. Kevin Owens has been forced to take a title shot in Berlin.
This was weird.
There's a lot of conflicting, I don't want to call it discourse, because it's not, just conflicting opinions about how Kevin Owens handled this offer. Cody Rhodes comes out at the top of the show. The Bloodline show up, and KO is the reinforcement with the chairs. And then Cody says, hold on, I have something for you. And it's, I want to give you a title shot for basically being my friend. And KO's like, no, my win-loss record sucks. Why would I don't want this. I don't deserve this. Give it to somebody else. And Cody's like, no, I think you're going to take it. And then they go backstage, and it's with Nick Aldis is added in now. And Aldis basically gaslights KO and says, no, just give it to Roman. I'm supposed to talk to him about a title shot. And KO's like, no, I don't want this title shot, but you'll take the title shot. So KO versus Cody at the Bash in Berlin. KO doesn't want this.
Like, it's a fine match. It'll be a good match. I think this does speak to, and SP3 and I did kind of talk about this, of what was next for Cody. They don't have a ton of great heels to challenge right now. And so they're going with a baby face, because they got a bunch of great baby faces. But they just don't have a whole lot of great heels especially on the SmackDown side. Like the top heels Logan's off right now. Escobar is basically one of the top heel, and Solo, but they just did Solo. Roman's back as a baby face. So they just don't have a whole lot of great heels on the SmackDown side. So they run with Kevin, who is, again, baby face. I don't think Kevin's going to turn or anything. I'm just going to do a face versus face match. And the way they got there, like, made some sense. But the whole, like, Kevin Owens, I love Kevin. He did his best here. But the whole, my win-loss record sucks. I don't want this title shot. And all this just being like, all right, I'll give it to Roman. And Kevin being, well, he won a bunch, but I didn't like how he won. So he doesn't deserve a title shot either. Like, come on, Kevin. Either the win-loss record matters, but like how you win doesn't matter. Like, come on. What are we doing?
Beggars can't be choosers, Kevin. What are we doing? You have children. You understand. You tell this to your kids all the time. Instead, he wants his cake and eat it too. Yeah, the match feels like they'll do babyface. It'll be a pick-up. It'll be, KO. You either like KO or you want Cody. It's a gentleman's match. This is where, Randy Orton comes into play. You're talking about who's a babyface, who's a heel. Orton's got the World Heavyweight Championship match versus Gunther. It's easy to guess, though you may not be right, as to what will main event Bash in Berlin. Is it Gunther and Randy Orton, or is it Cody versus KO? there's an argument for both sides. If you main event with KO versus Cody, then Randy gets his turn at the end of the night. He turns on Cody, beats up KO, then we're off to the races for the next round. He will have lost the match versus Gunter earlier in the night. I could even argue first match of the night, and then we're off. We're doing whatever with the rest of it. And Randy does his heel turn. Randy wasn't drafted to Raw, by the way, for those who are asking in the chat. They're just making up on the King of the Ring Triple H video, the screw up with the finish.
SmackDown's got to get something out of this, by the way. So they did reference that. Like Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis mentioned, we made a deal to get A-Town Down Under on Raw last week. All right, well, SmackDown's got to get something. And maybe Orton is what they got, because Orton can now get a title shot and maybe take that title back to SmackDown. I wish they would say something about that if that is what their deal was. But they did reference a deal for A-Town Down Under and SmackDown getting something, but we've not seen SmackDown actually get anything so far.
People have posited the idea that it's going to be Jey Uso and Sami Zayn so that they could start doing Roman Reigns bloodline stuff, which again, that's two more baby faces joining the ranks. That
Adam Pearce fucking sucks as a GM if he traded
that's an ongoing
night for A-Town Down Under for Jey Uso and Sami Zayn.
But that's an ongoing trope in WWE, is that Adam Pearce is not good at his job. He drinks on the job. He's a worthless drunk of a GM. That's the gimmick.
Wow.
He is every single time.
We don't need to throw drinking allegations at Adam Pearce.
Every time something bad happens, he says, I need a drink. Or he asks someone, do you want to go get a drink? Adam Pearce is absolutely, he's struggling, man. I don't advocate it, but if you watch, there are a lot of segments that end with him wanting a drink. But Pearce is a screw up. He screwed up everything. The last time he was made to look strong was when he dressed down Ronda Rousey in a promo. what a promo that was. But other than that, Chelsea Green broke him for life.
Jose saying Randy and Gunther main events. Cody comes down to get the crowd to cheer for Randy, and then Cody does everything, the RKO. Here's how you do it, folks. Here's how you do it. Randy Orton wins the World Heavyweight title from Gunther to open the show. Close the show. Cody and KO, they have a match. It's fine. Cody wins. And then big celebration at the end. Randy's the new champion. Cody's still the champion. KO's like, look at this nice happy family. And then double RKO to both of them by Randall. Keep the title. Merge these fucking titles. Do the match. Orton and Cody for both titles. Bring them back together. One world title to rule them all. And that's how we get there.
Where does the Ula Fala fit into this?
Well, that's obviously way more important than the world title. Same with the friendship bracelet that CM Punk has. So we're not worried about where they are. They are above the world title, the undisputed WWE championship, even though there's another WWE world title, but Cody has the undisputed one.
So in all of this, Orton should capture all the titles, and then Orton and Cena becomes the end of all of this in Cena's last match ever, right? At WrestleMania.
Oh, I would love for John Cena to win another title. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Great.
So we do Cena versus Orton WrestleMania for the title. Cena wins. That's it. Yeah, I think we did it.
Cena holds the title all year.
Wow. Sad trumpet noises. Remember those promos? It's just a single trumpet. Anyway. Oh, LA Knight. He's gonna have a US title match coming soon. I like you mentioned the Santos Escobar. Escobar comes out during LA Knight's celebration, I guess, and he does the whole like Escobar. See, perfect. Love that. Keep that up. They're going towards this match. This is something that you and I had talked about. People who were on the docket to face LA Knight first. For me, it was Santos Escobar as being the first guy. Looks like that's where we're going because Melo and Andrade are competing for their position on SmackDown. What do you think? Escobar LA Knight, good first challenge?
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely where they're going. Santos Escobar won a number one contenders match, so he'll get his title match at some point. It's a good feud. Escobar's good. I did like Escobar C. That was good. Escobar's good. He could be. I mean, he basically is the top heel at this point. So I hope they continue to just do more with him because he's really good. I don't think he's gonna beat LA Knight. It does kind of LA Knight saying hit it and quit it so many times was I don't know.
It ruled. It absolutely ruled. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, sure. He likes to hit it and quit it. Good on him, you know?
And then he hit it and quit it again. And then he did it again. Maybe he just loves love, but he thinks love is just every time you
like a girlfriend or a wife. So
yeah, and every time he's with her, he thinks it's a one night stand. Maybe he just has like long-term or short-term memory loss. So every time he meets her, he falls in love with her again.
It's like Drew Barrymore.
Is this 51st dates? All right.
51st U.S. title defenses.
51st U.S. title defenses. Yeah. 51st nights. This can idea. Yeah. You know, you're laughing because you know it's funny. Drew Barrymore guest stars. Yeah, and then meanwhile you've got Melo and Andrade. Those two are going to eventually move up to challenge LA Knight. I assume Melo and LA Knight has to be next. I feel bad for Andrade, but he's got the speed title. There are enough people in that US title picture right now that you can stretch out for a little bit. I would keep Escobar maybe on the track with LA Knight for a few months. Let them have a few matches. But for now, it's good. I'm glad the US title is going to be used as a proper mid-card title with mid-card defenses.
They gotta elevate some heels here. So Escobar would be a start. Carmelo, that's where they're going, would be good as well. But they gotta get some heels elevated while Cody is facing KO and Roman Reigns is dealing with the bloodline, because they ain't got too many. They got to get some guys who, like, I wouldn't mind if Ethan Page got a call up sooner rather than later, because Ethan Page has established himself as a top, I guess, sort of heel. He kind of does babyface heel because Oro Mensah was sort of healing during that feud, but Page did a very good job of turning himself back into the heel. So Ethan Page coming up and being that top heel would be good, but they got to get some heels over here. I don't know if they're getting, Ricky from AEW or anything, but man, Ricky Starks could come in and immediately be a top heel on one of these shows. Just, he can talk himself into that position very quickly.
If the opportunity were there, I'm sure it'd be a lot of fun to watch. I'm sure he'd love it too. Heel Daniel Garcia on SmackDown. There it is.
They need something. They need some type of heel. Like the fact that they're going with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, again, fine match. No issues with it. But I do think it speaks to a heel issue in the company. And that's SB3 and I did talk a lot about this on Friday of, we usually don't see this in WWE. Usually they're very good at lining up a bunch of heels and knocking them off. Like now they have a babyface problem, which is odd to say. Like they got so many top baby faces that they need to build up some heels for these guys to face, and they don't have any right now. Even on Raw, the top guys are Gunther, which okay, doing really well there. Breaker, they're doing good with him, and then Judgment Day, but people kind of see them as a little less than right now, especially if they're gonna call us street trash, but they can get there with Judgment Day. SmackDown, there's an actual issue there because you spent so long making Roman the top heel and everybody being well below him that now you've not elevated anybody else up to take that heel mantle outside of Solo, but Solo's feuding with Roman, so good luck. Yeah, AJ, he just lost 2 matches to Cody though. It's tough to really buy him in that position. Shinsuke, he got beat by Cody all throughout the end of last year. So him coming up is a tough buy as well. They just haven't elevated anybody else there.
Big
And
Nakamura fan, that Cody Rhodes.
What?
Big Nakamura fan, that Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. I don't even know if Shinsuke is on SmackDown. I thought he was on Raw, but he hasn't really appeared. You could tell me he's on SmackDown, and I believe you. Yeah, Henry's saying there's not too many heels that are ready in NXT. And like that's kind of true too. That's why I mentioned Ethan Page. He's probably the most ready for that position because NXT doesn't have a real top heel either. Like Pete Dunne, they had to bring him back in there to be like a top heel to feud with Trick, and that's been the guy. But otherwise, like they just don't have. See, so they did a great job with Bronson Reed, so we know they can do this. That's the thing. They proved on Monday they can quickly elevate a guy into a top heel position. They just got to do it on SmackDown. And you do that by going after a top guy on SmackDown. Who's the top guy on SmackDown? It's Cody. He could destroy Kevin. They could maybe just you don't really want to destroy Randy right now because Randy is elsewhere. But you could have somebody destroy Kevin and elevate in that position, or just destroy Cody. But they gotta build off of that. I imagine they'll be building with Bronson because Seth, it seems like he's gonna be out for a while. So Bronson can pick up a bunch of victories in the meantime until Seth comes back. They could have Obafemi just come in and wreck shop and be a top heel if they wanted to.
Giovanni Vinci's coming back. I'm not necessarily saying jump him right to the top.
No.
But is there a space, or how would you make him a top guy right away? How could you do that? It's tough. You got to rename him first of all.
It's not necessarily tough because you can put anybody in that position. I just don't know if Giovanni Vinci is that guy. I just mentioned Kevin Owens. You can use Kevin Owens very easily as a guy to get someone else over because Kevin Owens is nearly bulletproof, especially as a babyface. Crowd's going to love KO no matter what. He talks well. He does the fighting babyface stuff. His music's over. Like the crowd's going to eat up whatever KO does. So you can have Giovanni Vinci, beat KO, and you can elevate him in that way. I just don't know if they'll do that. Grayson Waller's legitimately a good shout, but it doesn't seem like they want him to be in that position yet. But Grayson Waller is a guy who can really talk himself up into that position. And, they're doing Waller and I forget who it is next week because Austin Theory booked that match. Like if Theory turns on Waller, I would just you don't need Austin Theory babyface. Just have Grayson Waller beat him and have Grayson Waller just elevate himself as a top heel because Waller can talk with any of these guys.
It's funny because I'm like, yeah, it's Waller and KO. If you do Waller turns officially, like there's no way to do this because
Waller's not turning. Don't turn Waller.
Sorry, yeah, he's the heel in this thing. Yeah. I was thinking to myself, like, does Waller get the one up on Theory? Because Theory turning on Waller doesn't work, right? Waller would have to take out Theory to turn Theory babyface in Theory. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, Theory can, I guess, accidentally cost Waller, but like there should be no accidents. KO should kind of just beat Waller pretty clean. I do think one problem is if like Waller beats us. So my idea was KO just beats Waller pretty straightforward. And then Grayson's upset with Theory that the match even got booked. And then Waller just destroys Theory. Crowd's going to cheer for Grayson Waller.
That's the problem. That's why I'm just like, you can't have Waller beat up Theory after Waller loses, or even if he wins a match. Like nothing works. It just has to be Waller being like, get out of my face, you stupid asshole. And then everyone's like, yeah, get out of his face, you stupid asshole. Like nothing works in terms of their departure, their breakup.
Yeah, you would have to be Waller kind of doing a sadistic sort of beatdown on Theory and injuring him and taking him out in that way. And maybe you'll get some sympathy on Theory to turn Waller. But man, I don't think people quite get how much the crowd does not care about Austin Theory, and they will probably cheer him getting his ass beat.
You know what? Give him the opportunity as a babyface. Split up the two. I like what you're saying. Have Waller go absolutely bonkers on him, beat him up to the point of the maybe not a stretcher job, but at least that he's out, and then he's away for a few weeks, and then have him come back, going for a hot babyface. I don't know what that means, but yeah, there's something there more than any other idea that has been kind of put out there today. Yeah, as it pertains to those two, at least
they can make Waller. Waller's good enough talking and just like getting heat that they can make him. I just don't know if Theory's the guy you make him with.
Theory, again, I've said this before, and I know you don't necessarily agree. I do see there is potential with Austin Theory as a babyface. I do see it. Get rid of the beard, first of all. But like, there might be something there. There really might be something. He's not completely unsalvageable, but they do have to get rid of those two as a unit. They've got to put them on opposite sides of the depth chart and let them be away from each other completely.
I actually think you can. I don't think you can do much with a babyface Austin Theory at this point. Like, I'm more inclined to see them try to just keep Waller and Theory together and make them more than a comedy act heel group, because again, they're lacking heels right now. Where's Austin Theory on the babyface depth chart? He's well down there. There's way more potential as a heel. Austin Theory bragging about beating John Cena at WrestleMania and everything. Like, you can do stuff with this, but they just haven't, and I don't know if they ever will. But this is why I think a split between Waller and Theory, whoever becomes the babyface out of this, that's tough sledding. They got way too many good baby faces to think that, oh yeah, let's elevate Austin Theory, or even a babyface Grayson Waller. Like, whoever comes the heel out of this, they're in a good spot until they just, if they actually do something with them. If they just keep being comedy heel, they keep being comedy heel, and then who cares? But there's at least room for growth there as a heel, where a babyface, there just ain't a whole lot of room to go up when you gotta, like, you're talking about SmackDown's a little bit easier, but you still got Cody, Roman, Kevin, and Randy, and LA Knight. You're 6 at best. And you're not only 6, Roman, Cody, LA Knight, that's your top 3 baby faces in the entire company. Like, even on the Raw side, I know Priest is getting good reactions. Punk, Drew get good reactions. But if you're talking pure babyface shit, Roman, Cody, LA Knight are the top 3.
What about Randy or KO?
Nah, they're above those two. Punk gets good reactions, but Punk is still, the way he acts still moves in a heel. Yeah, is still in heel because he's feuding with Seth, and Seth gets good reactions. I'm talking pure babyface reactionary stuff. It's Cody, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Cena's coming back. Like, that's going to be, SmackDown on the babyface side, you're 6 at best because you ain't jumping those top 5. Heel, you got room for growth there.
Plenty of heels tonight on Monday Night Raw. Shall we talk about this lineup?
Sure.
Odyssey Jones is going to appear. Yeah. Big time heel Odyssey Jones, right?
No.
I mean, eventually.
Wasn't set up well by you there, Joel.
Yeah, well, he could be. We could look back on this in a few weeks and be like, big time heel Odyssey Jones.
No, I don't think so.
Rhea Ripley opens the show. They've been definitely making a meal out of that. Looking forward to that. Her first words since SummerSlam. She came out and helped out Priest last week, but now we're going to actually hear from her. Randy Orton's going to be on the show because, of course, he is. He is challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship in Berlin, after all. Carlito versus Damian Priest is going to be a match that has a bunch of the Street Trash members joining in, I'm sure. American Made. Julius and Brutus Creed are going to take on Alpha Academy's Akira Tozawa and Otis. Please, please, please change the name of Alpha Academy. They do not need to be that anymore.
Yeah, I agree. They should change the the name on them. Like, it shouldn't be Alpha Academy at this point. Like, get Daniel Garcia in there to be the Garcia Academy.
I'm all for it. Garcia in a suit just doing the dance and be like, you got to dance if you join my academy. And
Him and Tozawa dancing? Oh,
yeah.
It's
Look
over for the rest of the Fed.
You talking about top 3 pops? You just got it right there. Tozawa and Garcia, they're gonna
all right, you know what? Everyone remembers Too Cool, right? Everyone
of course. Yeah, of course.
We need Garcia, Tozawa, Otis as the new Too Cool. And they win their matches and then they do the dance afterwards. Garcia's got that going on. Tozawa's got that going on. And Otis is doing the worm or the caterpillar or whatever he calls that damn thing. That's what we need. That's how you book Daniel Garcia. I've set it up. You're welcome, everybody.
I can see the short now. It's a clip of Too Cool dancing, but it's us explaining it the other way around.
New Cool is what you call them, if you would like to.
New Cool Catch Club. No, probably not that. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championship #1 contenders match. Kairi Sane and Io Sky, the Sky Pirates, take on Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler.
By the way, the clip's not going to be Too Cool dancing. It's going to be 3 clips. It's going to be the Garcia dance, the Tozawa dance, and the Otis caterpillar.
Of course.
It's going to be that little voiceover there. New Cool for them.
Looking forward to that. This #1 contenders match. Who's walking out as #1 contenders?
What was the match? I wasn't paying attention to what you said.
Sky Pirates versus Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler.
Oh, that's a fine match. Like, it'll be fun. I don't know. The women's tag titles are in a spot.
You just explained the women's tag titles for the last 4 years of existence.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I guess Damage Control are baby faces now.
Yep, they had to change, so they changed their position on the depth chart.
I think Zoe and Shayna win.
Who are the women's tag team champions right now?
It's Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the same tag team champions they've been since you drafted them, Joel.
That's right. Thank you for reminding me. I just wanted to make sure that they're out there. Happy belated birthday to Alba Fire. Stark and Baszler makes sense here. Going into Berlin, Zoe Stark very famously from Berlin, and Shayna Baszler very famously from outside of Berlin, the US. And a 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker defends against Sami Zayn. It's 2019 and commercials can no longer have any wrestling.
I'd have Braun Breaker win 2 straight falls.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I could see that. Would it be like he immediately gets one and then Sami puts up a big fight and then Braun finally gets the win? Or is it like 2 straight falls and then the show's over at like 10 o'clock?
No, I like the idea of, I think you go about it 2 ways. You could do it like he does a quick fall of like immediate spear and pin, and then like he's ready to go for another one, but then Sami moves and then Sami gets a bunch of offense. They have a match and then Braun eventually wins and you go like that. Or I would go, they have an elongated kind of match. Breaker gets 1 fall off of maybe 2 spears or something. And then you go the next fall, immediate spear, immediate fall. Like I would either do 2 quick succession at the end of the match or 1 early, Sami fight back, and then 1 late. But I would have Braun Breaker win 2 straight falls. I don't think Sami loses anything. We just never see it. Like the obvious way this will most likely play out is Braun Breaker wins the first fall, Sami wins the second fall, and then Braun wins the 3rd fall.
What if they change it up? Sami gets the first fall and Breaker comes back and beats the shit out of Sami for 2 straight, not 2 straight falls, but the next 2 falls.
I don't like that because then the argument would be, well, if it was a single fall, then Sami would be the champion, and then you just do, I guess, another match.
Run it back.
Yeah, I want something like sort of definitive on this. And I think having Braun win 2 straight and Sami getting nothing is the way to do it.
Does this match reintroduce Ilya Dragunov, as people have been asking for?
Maybe afterwards, maybe Braun just continues to beat the shit out of Sammy, and we get Jay and Ilya coming out, and then so that way you kind of you run two stories there. You run Jay helping Sammy, and you run Ilya and Braun, because I don't think Jay has any beef with Braun Breaker. I mean, he might now, but you do Jay and Sammy because they talked about going after Judgment Day. And then you can set up Ilya and Braun.
I like this idea from Henry in the chat. Breaker wins the first fall, then gets DQ'd, and then wins the third fall. Okay. So really he wins all three, but obviously DQ is a loss, but you get all three out of there. It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't mind that. You know, that's the old Brock and Kurt Angle, where
that's right.
Brock beat the shit out of him in the Iron Man match and like just took 2 DQ losses. But then Kurt was so beat down that he just pinned him for 3 falls. So it didn't matter. So I do like, yeah, Breaker wins the first. He's like, all right, you know what? I'm going to now beat the hell out of you with this chair. And he does that, and then he pins him. So it looks like it's 2-1. But yeah, it's just Braun Breaker kind of destroying him. I like that. I'm cool with that idea.
See how it plays out. That's tonight. That's Monday Night Raw. We'll be back on Wednesday to talk about that and all the other stuff that we kind of mentioned happening on the show tonight on Raw, and some other stuff. I'm sure there will be news that comes out. Is there anything that Jeremy you want to add or talk about before we get on out of here?
We will be back on Wednesday, allegedly, as long as Lexi Nair relays that we will be back on Wednesday.
Yes, I have sent her a message. She will be here to announce that we will be here.
Joel, I saw it real quickly. I saw you got called out by SB3 for being a fake Evil fan.
That's nice.
Do you know the Evil hand signal? This is going to test if you are a true Evil fan or not. Nope.
Well, that's the one I use.
Fake fan, Joel Pearl. Fake fan.
I've been saying that about you for years. No one ever checked you on that.
About what? About Evil?
Exactly. No, about everything else. Damn it.
I already admit
Jeremy Lambert fake everything.
That's everyone right. Do it with me. Everyone in the chat knows. Everyone in the chat watched on Friday. They're very smart. They're here all the time. We appreciate them. You will never forget the name EVIL. Evil.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Fake fan.
We'll be back Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to go let Lexi know. For Jeremy Lambert, I am Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Never.